Today I'm here with Nicole Beale at the Creative DigiFest at Southampton University to discuss the Smile project and why it's so important to understand social media. So Nicole, what is the Smile project?
Okay, so the project launched in March this year, and it started really because we had a large conference coming up at the university, and we were really interested in how we could look at using social media to better support the way that delegates were networking. So it started as a very small project, and then it grew and grew and grew, and it's kind of been a very iterative process for us. So we've been kind of doing a sort of cyclical experience of using social media, seeing how that goes, coming back together as a team, trying something new out, implementing that again at another event and going through. So SMILE stands for social media in live events, and that's exactly what we do. We look at how we can better support live events using social media. That's it in kind of a nutshell.
Fantastic. So it's exactly what it says on the tin. So we know that you're aiming to improve social media coverage for live events, but how are you planning to do it? What factors are involved?
Oh, it's a difficult one to kind of say it all in a 5-minute interview. But basically, the idea is that we test different kinds of social media, but we look at how you can really embed them in what a conference is doing. So we're a higher education team, and all of us come from higher education institutions. So we're mainly interested in it from the perspective of what it can bring for students and researchers. So, for example, you might have people tweeting at a conference, but we look at how you can support the tweets in the real world as well as online. So instead of just having a social media back channel on a conference website, we might also have tweets appearing behind a presenter, or we might have them appearing in paper form being printed out and passed around. We might be encouraging additional hashtags or seeing how they evolve naturally. So it's all about kind of playing with the social media and getting volunteers to come in, that are students and staff and researchers at those conferences, and get them to kind of try out new stuff.
Yeah. So having your own personal guinea pigs, basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it exactly like that, because we do let them do what they want to do. So we're not really kind of forcing people into using a particular tool, because that's not how social media works. And you can't really say to somebody, everyone sign up on Twitter and use Twitter for this conference. But what you can do is look at what kinds of social media are being most adopted by people in that particular network or particular support group, and then kind of look at how that's being worked and maybe support that social media a little bit more during the live event. So we might take something like Facebook and see that conversations are happening on there, and so we might then automatically pull stuff from Twitter into Facebook, so that people are not missing out on what's happening on another platform just because they are a Facebook fan rather than a Twitter fan.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, what impact did you think that the project's going to end up having? What's the ideal impact that you'd like it to have?
So it's multiple impacts. One of the things is that we're hoping that we can put together some sort of open educational resource or a toolkit that gives people different ways for using social media at events. So we'll kind of publish something so people can take that on, take our lessons learned and adapt them for their own events. But also we've published a few papers and gone to a few conferences to talk about specific aspects of it. So for example, one of our team members, Tom Brugmans, is very interested in looking at network analysis and what that can bring to looking at things that have happened using social media after a live event. So he takes tweets, for example, does a network analysis of that, and then looks at who's talking to who and how those conversations are going out away from the conference, and how kind of useful that might be for thinking about the kinds of hashtags and the kind of support that's available at the next conference. And the other thing that we're doing is looking at how we can better tie together online and offline. So a conference doesn't just have social media standing away from the real event, everything is all kind of tied together. So we're supporting stuff that's happening online and mirroring that and putting events on in the kind of offline real world, so that it's much better kind of embedded.
Yeah. So you're going to have a big impact, hopefully, then. That's the ideal goal. Fingers crossed. Okay, so why do you feel it is so important to improve and encourage social media?
I think, so I'm a PhD student, and for me, I think the main thing is that social media is there, it's happening, and it's all around us, and we can't really deny that it's going on. So as researchers, being able to be a bit more kind of savvy about the best ways that we can use social media, and really kind of claiming control back over it, and being kind of a bit more aware of how we can filter stuff that's going on in social media. So it's about the fact that it's happening and we want to all be part of that, but also it's about not letting it take over our lives and being able to maybe control that a bit better, so having better ways to filter stuff that's coming through social media. So it's kind of two-way thing, I think.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.